We all think we know gold. It's ancient, it's beautiful, it's gold. But what if its most important job today is one we literally never see? What if it's the secret ingredient powering the future of our technology?
So, if I say the word gold, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's going to be one of two things. First, and most obviously, there's jewelry, right? For thousands of years, it's been the ultimate symbol of beauty, of status, of something that lasts forever. And then, of course, there's the bank vault. You picture stacks of gold bars, a safe bet when the economy gets a little shaky. But what if I told you that gold's most critical role today has nothing to do with any of that?
Yep, that's right. This ancient metal, this thing we've been digging up for centuries, is now absolutely essential for powering the future of artificial intelligence. And believe me, that connection is changing everything.
Okay, so let's really get into this. To see how gold is tied to AI, we first have to look way beyond the bank vaults and straight into the heart of just about every electronic device you own.
So what's the big deal with gold in our tech? Well, it's an amazing electrical conductor. But here's the kicker. Unlike copper or silver, it never, ever corrodes or tarnishes. You can stretch it into wires thinner than a human hair and use it to create these super thin, ultra-reliable coatings. For the high-speed computer chips in our world, those features aren't just nice to have. They are absolutely essential.
But, and it's a big but, there's a catch. Gold is expensive, really expensive. Back in the 2000s, the price just shot through the roof, and that forced manufacturers into a corner, creating this huge conflict. How do you keep building high-performance tech when your perfect ingredient costs a fortune?
And this right here is the exact dilemma they were facing. Sure, you could switch to cheaper stuff like copper or silver and you'd still get great conductivity, but you lose that all-important resistance to corrosion. Now, for a simple little gadget, maybe that's a risk you're willing to take. But for the computer that's controlling a self-driving car, yeah, that's a trade-off that could be a huge, huge problem.
So, for years, the big trend in electronics was using less gold. It was all about thrifting and finding substitutes. But then, something happened. Something big. The AI revolution kicked off. And suddenly, we were in a whole new kind of gold rush. You can see the whole story right here on this timeline. After that big price surge, you see the use of gold in electronics just drop. But then, look at 2017. For the first time in 7 years, the demand starts ticking back up. And why? Because with the rise of AI, reliability suddenly became non-negotiable. And let me tell you, AI has an absolutely insatiable appetite for powerful hardware. We're talking about the most advanced processors, massive memory chips, and just a flood of new sensors for things like facial recognition and cars. In those giant data centers or inside an autonomous vehicle where failure is simply not an option, you have to have the flawless performance that only gold can deliver.
Now, this rocketing demand for gold in tech is actually part of a much bigger story. We are entering a brand new age, an age where the metals that power our modern world are becoming incredibly strategic assets.
The global race is officially on for all of these critical minerals, the ones that power everything from electric cars to our most advanced defense systems. And getting access to these resources isn't just about business anymore. It's about national security. And that really is the key takeaway here. Geopolitics is now front and center. The markets for these critical metals aren't just driven by simple supply and demand anymore. Oh no. Now it's all about strategic competition between countries. So this new global game has a few new rules. First, countries that have these resources are starting to control them a lot more tightly. We're talking export bans. Second, governments are now stockpiling these minerals like they're military assets. And third, because it takes years and tons of money to open a new mine, the supply just can't keep up with demand spikes. And all of that just makes the market way more volatile and unpredictable.
So you have this intense demand and this complicated global supply chain. The question becomes, how do we get these metals sustainably? Well, the future isn't just about digging deeper, it's about thinking a whole lot smarter.
And looking ahead, this demand is not slowing down. Not at all. Gold, along with other super specialized metals, is going to be vital for building the next generation of quantum computers, machines that need materials with near-perfect properties to even work.
But what if the biggest source of these future metals isn't buried in the ground? What if it's in our junk drawers? Every single year, we throw out 50 million tons of electronic waste. It's a huge environmental problem, for sure, but it's also a hidden treasure.
And I'm not kidding when I say treasure. Believe it or not, our old discarded phones and computers are literal gold mines. A single ton of e-waste has at least 10 times more gold in it than a ton of ore from a traditional mine. The real challenge has always been how to get it out efficiently and cleanly.
Well, researchers at Cornell may have found an amazing answer. They've developed this kind of molecular sponge that can selectively pull 99.9% of the gold right out of e-waste solution. And here's the best part. That recovered gold is then used as a catalyst to help convert captured CO2 into useful materials. It's not just recycling, it's a true win-win. Which really leaves us with this one final, kind of wild thought. We've always thought of gold as this precious thing we have to dig out of the ground. But if the richest gold mines of the future are actually the devices we're holding in our hands right now, what does that say about what we're all throwing away?